Before we continue, like, share, and comment on this video, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Emancipate Africa. Don't forget to push the notification bell for new video alerts. Also, follow me on Facebook at Emancipate Africa. Welcome to Emancipate Africa. Leadership. Leadership is so crucial to the development of every nation, every country. It's so crucial to humankind, and as a result, in every society, there is always a leadership role that needs to be filled. Leadership is so crucial that it is necessary for the progress, development of every organization, every society. And we could see that in our churches, in schools, in the mosque, and every other place where you have a collection of human beings, there is always a leader. Why? Because you need a leader to be the engine of progress, of development and achievement, of excellency. Today is all about leadership crisis in Africa. Any nation which is succeeding or making progress actually means there is good leadership in that country. It means the leaders of that country are actually committed to transformational and progressive thinking. It means the leadership are committed to critical decision making, exploration of great ideas that can lift their people from poverty, that will guide their people to success. And as a result, you can see the effect of these critical thinking, decisions, and big ideas that the leaders have implemented over the course of time in the lives of their citizens, in the economics of their nations. You can see progress, you can see growth, you can see prosperity. And on the other hand, any nation that is actually struggling, any nation that is filled with poverty, that is filled with hardship, any nation that is filled with struggling citizens, it actually implies that the leaders are lacking the idea. The leaders are lacking the wisdom, the commitment, the loyalty, the faithfulness it takes to actually lead their people, to lift their people out of poverty. And as a result, it is good and critical that we take a look at what is good leadership and what is bad leadership, so we can fully understand why Africa is struggling, why Africans are actually lacking great leaders. Let's take a look. So here we go. This is to demonstrate what exactly a good leadership is and bad leadership is. So at the end of this, you should be able to tell me and every other person else, what bad leadership is and good leadership is. So right here we have two bottles of waters, and these bottles actually represent leadership or leaders in our countries. So we'll take the tops out. We have two bowls out here, And these bowls actually represent the citizens of our nations or of every country. And we have two glass jars out here, and they represent the nations and their troubles, their challenges that they are facing. So now, let's put the citizens into their countries or nations where they belong, into the troubles they are facing. So here we go. So now, let's see whether this leader here is a good leader or this leader here is a bad leader. Let's see who is who. So, like I said before, leadership is all about, guiding your people to a destination of prosperity. Lead your people, lift them up out of poverty. Guide your people, empower your people, create jobs and opportunities for your people. Be a leader of transformation to your people. Redeem your people. You should be a leader who will be selfless and not selfish. Be a leader who will not be corrupt. Don't be a leader who will all be about yourself. Lifting yourself up and leaving your citizens behind to struggle in poverty, in hardship, inflation, in our countries. As you can see. So you now tell me what good leadership is. Who is a good leader? This or this? Because as you have seen, this leader has been able to lift his citizens, his people out of poverty. But this leader out here, he actually just lifted himself up and he's still leaving his citizens behind in poverty, struggling to keep up. Bad roads, bad education, healthcare is poor, no good wages for the workers, no jobs for the citizens. The citizens are still stuck below. They cannot keep their head above as it is over here. And this is the difference between leadership in Africa and leadership in the developed world, leadership in the Western world. African leaders are all about themselves. All they want to do is lift themselves up. But in the Western world, the goal is to actually create opportunities. Create opportunities for every citizen. Lift the citizens out of poverty. Create jobs. Build healthcare, build education, build agriculture, invest in big ideas, invest in technology. So at the long run, the citizens will be happy. The citizens will keep their head above water. This is why Africa is in leadership crisis. Africa is in leadership crisis because all our leaders want to do is to waste money and buy a lot of luxury cars, build mansions, travel abroad and go out there and open bank accounts. That's all African leaders want to do. They want to get rich overnight. So the citizens will keep on saluting them and calling them honorable, your majesty, Mr. President, honorable minister. What about the people? What about the people? No job for the youth, but our leaders just want to rent the most expensive luxury aeroplanes out there and be flying abroad. Day in, day out. African leaders spend most of their time in the skies, flying to the developed world, to the Western world, more than they spend at their offices, more than they spend with their cabinet, sitting together and thinking and reasoning and taking progressive decisions to lift their people out of poverty, to create jobs for their people. There is leadership crisis in Africa. A government in power will actually ignore, will forgo and let go projects that were started by the previous administration, so the project can go to waste. Why? Because it was started by the previous administration. So this administration do not want to commission the progress. So that hospital will be lying waste, whilst a lot of our citizens, their citizens are dying due to lack of hospitals, due to lack of medical equipment. But there is a hospital out there that has been built. It just needs somebody to, finish up with a little bit of touches and open it so it can serve the citizens. There is leadership crisis in Africa. African leaders will tell you they don't have money. They always complain about they don't have money to fix the roads, to fix the schools, to build new schools, to build new hospital, to fix the hospital. They don't have money to construct the roads so farmers can get their crops from the farm to the market. But when elections are coming, African leaders have a lot of money to spend on these elections, on their elections. They have enough money to buy a lot of cars for their campaigns, to brand the cars for their campaigns. They have a lot of money to do all of that. There is leadership crisis in Africa. That's why we as the citizens of Africa, we need to stop rewarding our leaders and voting them into power and giving them the second term after they have failed just because we belong to their party, just because we are from the same tribe as them. We need to change our mentality. We need to change our understanding about politics. We need to start holding our leaders accountable. We need to stop rewarding them for doing nothing. We need to start rewarding them for their failures. A citizen of Africa who has no job and is complaining about poverty, and is complaining about high rent, is complaining about high cost of transportation, high cost of food, inflation, is complaining about poor state of health care in Africa, will still use his last energy to defend a politician who is failing. The very politician who is failing the country, the very politicians who have disappointed the country and are leaving the country in a state of poverty, in a state of hardship, an African citizen will still defend these politicians with his last energy, time. Why? Because he belongs to that political party. Why? Because he's from the same tribe with that leader, the same tribe with those politicians. We have been brainwashed to be loyal to our political parties, but not loyal to our motherland, to our countries. We have been brainwashed to be loyal to our politicians and not loyal to our countries, to our nations, to our development, to our progress, not to ourselves and not to our children. We are not even loyal to our dreams, to our future, to our destination. We need to start changing our mentality. The love of our nation should be about the development, national unity, national progress, and safety and growth of our nation, of our citizens, of we the people, of our children, and not our leaders, and not our greedy leaders. Of course, there are some few leaders in Africa who are struggling to do the right thing. African leaders will make millions of promises of the things they want to fix in their countries, the developmental projects they want to bring to the people, make a lot of promises about distributing water, about building schools, hospitals, constructing roads, updating education, revising the syllabus, and doing all the beautiful things. Like they're about to change Africa into heaven. That is when they are campaigning to gain power, but immediately they gain power, it's all over. It's all over. They spend a whole term, 4-5 years in office doing nothing. About 4-5 months or 6 months to another elections, then they start driving around in their luxurious 4x4s or Land Cruisers in a convoy of about 100, 200, 300 vehicles in chains and driving by with siren. They start putting a lot of excavators and bulldozers and graders on the road just to fool the people. They start going around and cutting swords about new projects they're about to start, understanding that there is no way they can build and finish those projects within 4, 5, 6 months before elections. But that is just to fool the people. And we, the people, we have always fallen for those buffooneries, We've always fallen for those tricks, for those old tricks. And once the election is over and they win power, then they start packing all the bulldozers, the graders, the excavators, they start packing them back. The country is left filled with uncompleted projects. Some of the sites you go out there, you only see a signboard that says this place is supposed to be used for an airport. Or, this place is reserved for a hospital. This is an ongoing project for a school. They grade the road and leave the road dusty without touching them. But the question is, where are the projects? That's why it is so surprising when an African leader make a promise about they're about to build an airport, they're about to build a school, they're about to build a hospital, they're about to build this and that projects, and then we quickly run out there and start praising them, singing their praise, voting for them massively. When the election is over, it's all over. The country is filled with abandoned projects. The same leaders who cries to the citizens of Africa, they don't have the money to fix the country. They don't have the money to solve the problem, to help the people. But when elections are coming, they have enough money to buy bags of rice and be distributing it to the people just to get their votes, just to retain power. They have money to buy t-shirts and be distributing it to the people for their votes. They have the money to be distributing bicycles to the people just to get their votes and retain power and maintain power. They have the money to buy beans and be spreading money, giving out money. The same people who says they don't have the money. 4 good years, 5 good years, a whole term in office is all about excuses. African leaders will spend a whole 4-5 years, a whole term, just blaming the previous administration of their failures, of their own incompetence to solve problems. Forgetting that when they were coming into power, they promised the people that they were going to fix everything that was wrong with the country. They promised the people, they understood the problems, they understood all the things that were wrong in the country and that they are the people who have the solution to fix them. But once they get into power, it's all about blaming the previous administration about everything that is going wrong, even currently in the country. There is a rising inflation whilst they are in office, but they put the blame on the previous administration. What about your administration? What are you doing to fix the problem? Didn't you know about the problem when you signed up, when you told the people you are a better candidate to solve the problem, and the people gave you the nod? This is one thing about African leaders that shocks me the most about African leaders. When elections are coming, African leaders will come together, our politicians will come together and come out with a bunch of ideas to rig the elections. They come out with different tactics and ideas to rig the election so they can win power, so they can remain in office. But when it comes to solving the problems of the citizens, our leaders don't have the ideas. They are short of ideas to solve our problems, to create jobs for the youth, create jobs for the citizens. When it comes to solving problems, when it comes to building industries, African leaders don't have the ideas. They don't have the solutions, but they have the ideas to rig an election. They go out there and plan how to rig an election, how to deploy the military, how to deploy the police service, how to deploy forces to go out there and shoot and kill innocent citizens who are trying to exercise their electoral rights. They go out there, deploy the military to go and shoot and kill innocent citizens who are trying to exercise their constitutional right to vote, the right to choose their leaders, the right to choose who will lead them, who will solve their problem, the right to choose who they trust. But when it comes to solving the problems of the citizens, our leaders just don't have the solution. African leaders don't have the wisdom. They don't have the courage. They don't have the loyalty. They don't have the faithfulness to the people. Why wouldn't there be exodus of the youth, of the citizens of Africa, walking through the desert, dying in the desert, suffering in the desert, just so they can get to another man's land to find greener pastures? Why wouldn't the citizens of Africa be dying in the ocean and be washing ashore another man's land just because they are searching for survival, they are searching for jobs, they are searching for income, they are searching for livelihood, they are searching for better lives for themselves, for their family, for their wives, for their husbands, for their children, for their parents? Why wouldn't the citizens of Africa be suffering to the extent of leaving their motherland? Excessive immigration, and they are suffering in other people's land just to make it, whilst our ladies are busy following slave queens. Our leaders are busy buying cars and houses for their girlfriends, for slave queens. Most of them are married and they still have side chicks. They are sponsoring with money, buying and building mansions, spreading money all around for unnecessary stuff. What about the citizens? What about the citizens? Every African leader needs to understand building of Africa is not just for the citizens of Africa, but it's for them, and it's for their children, it's for their great-grandkids and generations. If African leaders should stop investing into all those luxury 4x4 Land Cruisers all over. African leaders will move between 100 to 200 Land Cruisers 4x4s driving in convoy and stop traffic with their siren just to go out there and go and commission 2 toilets, 3 toilets, KVIPs, some mini projects, 2-kilometer roads. That if you take the cost of all those Land Cruisers, is even more than the projects they are going to commission. But they drive fuel paid for by taxpayers, expensive cars paid for by taxpayers. There is leadership crisis in Africa, and it's going to take our leaders, it's going to take we the citizens to start taking crucial decision to stop rewarding bad governance, to stop defending bad leaders, bad governance, bad politicians in our countries, in our motherland. We need to start changing the way we think. The earlier we start educating each other and start spreading this informative and wisdom, so we can wake up a lot of the citizens of Africa, so we can stop being fooled by our leaders. Why wouldn't our leaders keep on fooling us when after they've created hardship for us? We can't even pay our electric bills. We cannot pay our water bills. We don't have good drinking water. Rent is so expensive. We can't even afford it. We can't even afford food. We can't afford internet. We can't afford transportation. There are no jobs out there. The few who have jobs, they are being underpaid. But yet, we are the same people who defends bad governance in Africa. We are the same citizens who defend bad leadership in Africa, who defend our leaders in Africa, whilst our brothers and sisters are dying in the desert, just trying to make ends meet, just trying to find a job, just trying to find greener pastures. We have to do better. Even the leaders of the developed world, from whom our leaders travel abroad to borrow money, are doing their best almost every day, day in, day out, to be simple, to cut back on waste of money, waste of resources. Take a look. Here you have the French president who is meeting up with the Denmark prime minister, and they are riding a bicycle. They are moving from point A to B with bicycles. And they have people, security, following them with bicycles. They are all riding with bicycles. But our leaders, African leaders, will continue to move and drive around the country in a convoy of about 100, 200, 300 Land Cruisers, expensive cars, whilst there are no beds at the hospital for their citizens, for patients, whilst there are not enough medical equipment, not enough doctors trained. One doctor will have to consult 100 to 200 patients in a day, whilst there is not enough electricity supply in our countries. Why? Because we are over-reliant on old age hydroelectricity source of supply or power plants. We have overburdened them with new efforts to build new ones. When at all will our leaders learn to be simple? Kindly like and share this video, comment, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Emancipate Africa. Don't forget, hit the notification bell for new video alerts. Also, follow me on Facebook at Emancipate Africa. Let's come together and build a better Africa, better countries and nations, future for our children, for ourselves and generations yet unborn. Love.